shit. The song doesn't end on a proper like end of a measure. I thought I had more time to dance before the camera came back. I did not. Welcome to welcome to the BodySlam.net's AEW Dynamite post show, everybody. I'm Mike Hamley, joined as always by the wonderful Kyle Sparks. Gonna do this. This is my last night doing the show, but this isn't the last night of the show. It's someone else will be saying this next week. Maybe Kyle, maybe somebody else. Kyle will be here. We'll figure it out. But anyway, what a great week of AEW Dynamite to leave it off with here. Oh my gosh,
we're going out with a bang.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. On a week with a departure, we had the theme of the night tonight was returns, and it was started off right away. First segment of the show, Jon Moxley cold open, coming out to hang out with the crowd, tell everybody that he's the baddest guy in the locker room, and if anyone else wants to prove themselves otherwise, challenge that, then go ahead and step. And heard some music we were not expecting to hear tonight. Holy shit, Hangman is back. How'd you like that, Kyle?
I was not expecting any cowboy shit tonight, but here we are. This was a really interesting choice. I don't know that I saw Hangman coming back and entering into a program with Mox right away. Mm-hmm. And is poor Jon Moxley ever going to get to take his vacation?
I'm sorry, I feel like you don't want it. I'm sorry, I think he's like, no, I'm afraid of flying overseas. Let's just whip around the U.S. and wrestle people. He's having too much fun.
This man came out and told everybody how he was the biggest, baddest, toughest. Nobody's going to outwork me, out wrestle me, out tough me, out hustle me. And he has been the measuring stick in AEW almost from the word go. He has been super, super protected. He has almost any loss he's suffered has been because of some kind of shenanigan. But hey, this is I was surprised by this, and I like being surprised. And the first match was fantastic. The next one's going to be amazing too.
Mm-hmm. Bring it on. Unfinished business in that one too, which is why I like that Hangman's back, and that's the first guy he's going for is the guy who took him out. I love it. And also, it's even without the world title involved, like they had like a cool thing brewing there with their feud leading up to their title match that kind of saw Hangman feeling like Jon Moxley was kind of, kidding him a little bit.
Yeah.
And wasn't taking him seriously as like a, credible threat and a man. So, yeah, their first match they had too was cooking. So, and ended very abruptly with a with a no decision really. So just it having them run it back immediately is great. I just honestly didn't expect Hanger to be back so soon, and that's what made the surprise so cool for me, was that I was like, oh, you're here? I figured you'd be. I didn't expect to see him until like next year, honestly.
Well, yeah, I kind of figured we'd see Adam Cole before we saw Adam Page again. Yeah. But hey, run it back. They had a good thing going. I don't think Page feels like he's really gotten the respect that he feels like he deserves from Mox at this point. And you've got to think this is going to functionally act as a de facto number one contendership.
Of some sort, yeah. It's definitely gonna factor somebody into the ring. Like Hangman would be a good. I think Hangman having a win over Moxley would do wonders for him too.
I think that's where you go. I really think that. I think you go with Hangman for the win there, because I don't know how you get a more pure babyface than Adam Page right now. And I'm not sure you have a more pure heel in the business than MJF right now, regardless of company.
Yeah.
That's going to be dynamite. No pun intended. That's going to be some fantastic stuff they'll cook up with the two of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And honestly, like after tonight, there's they lay. We'll get to it later, but they really did kind of lay. I don't want to say a roadmap for MJF out. Like they laid a whole fork out for him, like with 4 prongs on it. Really, he was spitting some names. He was spitting some names later in the show.
There is a line of people around the block that would just character-wise would love to just punch MJF in the nose just on principle.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start dangling the AEW title into the mix as well, there's going to be a whole lot of guys that are going to want to get a shot.
For sure. I love the pull apart at the end of this box segment too with Hangman, and then the way it kept going, like several segments into the show, and they're escorting Hangman out of the building, and Mox just runs up, and they're just scrapping again. That shit was hilarious. And then we followed right out of this, right out of this pull apart into Dax Harwood versus Bryan Danielson. Yeah, what do you want it like?
The Axe versus the Dragon.
Just gonna gush about this match for a bit. It kicked ass. Shocking, right? Like,
absolutely fantastic stuff. Dax Harwood has, and this is hardly going to be a hot take for anybody, but Dax Harwood has been quietly making a case to be in the Wrestler of the Year conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Going out and putting on banger tag matches with Cash, going out and putting on banger singles matches against anybody and everybody. AEW has really given him the opportunity to shine as a singles guy as well. I don't think that necessarily means there's any plans to break up FTR, because why on earth would you? But it's great to see that continue to develop for him. And if I'm being honest, I really thought there was actually a chance that he might get the win here tonight. I really did for a bit.
It's weird, right? Because like we've seen Bryan lose some matches, so it's like it's not like there's this precedent that exists of like Bryan Danielson beats everybody, because he's actually taken a few losses. So normally I would want to say no chance, but there was a couple spots in the match where I'm like, oh shit, Dax might have him. And that's what makes the match good, where even if you have like a preconceived notion that somebody is more than likely just going to win the match, like you can't really find a way, you can't really think of a way where them losing it would be like sensible.
Yeah.
To have the match actually still suspend that disbelief, or suspend that belief for you is the whole goal of it, right?
Well, and that's kind of where I was going in with it as well, thinking that let's be honest, they keep giving Dax these matches with Punk, with Bryan, with and on and on and on, with so many top guys around the company. At some point, it would behoove them to give Dax a win in one of them if they're going to keep putting him against these level guys.
Yeah.
And Bryan right now, all things considered, is probably a pretty good choice.
Mm-hmm.
He's very, I mean, he's obviously super over. He's not really going to lose that much in the loss. Not that he couldn't make back almost immediately. No. He's not really involved in anything right now. And he's shown in the past, like you said, he has no qualms doing that if it'll get a guy to that next level. So in that sense, the dominoes are kind of all in place, and it would have made at least a little bit of sense if it happened. But That said, I mean, you can't argue with Bryan Danielson beating anybody in the world. You line him up against any professional wrestler in the world today and give Bryan the win, and you'd go, yeah, all right, that kind of makes sense.
He's never an underdog. Never an underdog when I see a match card. I'm like, yeah, no, Bryan Danielson can beat anybody. Line him up, he can knock him down.
But no, it was great stuff. The match itself was fantastic. You had Dax showing off a little bit of technical expertise, which he definitely has. He's not going to be a guy who's going to go and mat wrestle with Danielson. There are very, very few on the planet who can. Mm-hmm. But he's got that little bit of extra power. He's got that probably a little bit of an... Dax may have an advantage in terms of chops as a pure striker, but Danielson brings the kicks to the equation too that might put him over the top. But, you saw Dax try to work the match that style, try to not get on the mat, try to keep it as a striking match. And it almost worked for him.
Until they couldn't stand up anymore. Yeah. So the thing I want to call out most that I liked in this match was the either, I guess, one long spot or kind of two spots that led to the finish was the transition to the sharpshooter out of the powerbomb pin from Dax, and then also Danielson turning the cradle into the label lock. Both of those were really cool, awesome ways to just to kind of transition into your their submissions out of not exactly like standard positioning, like a sit out power bomb pin, and then it's like, oh, just put my leg through here and roll over. Oh, look, you're in a sharpshooter. That was
I remember that transition cool to the sharpshooter, or a version of that, and it was the one that sticks out to me was from SummerSlam 91, and Brett got there in a similar way. It was Bret Hart winning the IC title from Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. That was the one where Hennig was laying leg drops into the abdomen between the legs on Bret. Eventually, Bret caught one, and while both men were on their back, tied up the legs, rolled over, and bang, sharpshooter. And I got similar vibes from that. They didn't get there in the same way, but it was that same kind of principle to reach the hold. And that, again, that's Dax being a student of Bret Hart and a student of the game.
Yeah, no. Dax doing Bret Hart things. Shocking. After this, we got Ricky Starks, a little segment with him backstage. He's entering the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal, which is next week on Dynamite. Winner will face MJF for the Dynamite Diamond ring. Also at Winter is coming. By the sounds of it, from when Ethan Page got on the mic later in the night, which honestly just kind of leads me to think Ricky wins the Battle Royal, so it's like both's on the line, because MJF's not wrestling twice. The Winter is coming. That man's barely wanting to wrestle once.
I'm not certain that that's the case. And the way Ethan Page talked about it, and I guess we'll roll this into that sort of as well, it made it sound like Page saying, I'm calling my shot and I'm going to do it at Winter is Coming, made it sound like that someone will get a shot at MJF for the ring, but it might not necessarily be at Winter is Coming. But that Page would do it there because of the fact that, because he already has the contractually obligated match with Starks, he would already be tired, similar to a Money in the Bank kind of scenario.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one it means. I guess we'll find out after the Battle Royal when they say, hey, the winner is going to face MJF at Winter is Coming. But yeah, either way, cool.
I'm still holding up for Dalton Castle to win because I want more Dalton Castle on my TV.
I'd love to see Dalton Castle and MJF just kind of promo back and forth at each other for just one segment. That'd be fucking hilarious. And then, yeah, so after this Ricky Starks backstage segment is when we cut to see Hangman being escorted out of the building. Him and Mox are still fighting in the garage. It's hilarious. I love it when these happen, where it's like, oh, we're just catching up with it's the same brawl from earlier has continued. It's been 25 minutes. Holy shit.
At least it's not the parking lot. That's where the real bad stuff happens.
Right? Yeah. Well, hey, at least nobody left their arm hanging in a car door for Ty Conti today.
Fair.
And then we got to the TNT title match, something that I was so excited for today.
You mentioned Ty Conti, and speaking of the JAS, we got another backstage interview with Renee Paquette.
Yes, that's right. JAS. It was in Nashville with Claudio and Wheeler Yuta, setting up more JAS versus BCC at Final Battle.
Because and Jake Hager Not only does he love his hat, he wants to share the love with his hat. And he got another hat for Claudio identical to his. Personally, as an old ROH fan, I don't love it because remember, Claudio is very European, and that hat is not very European. I can't abide by that.
We're getting Jericho and Claudio at Final Battle, which is cool because there's the stipulation tied to it around, if Claudio loses, he has to join the JAS. Now I'm really like, oh wait, is Jericho finally losing this title, or is Claudio? Or are we gonna get Claudio? Both are hilarious to me, either way. Not. I'd be just happy to see Claudio win the title back. Honestly, I liked him having his first world title, and that felt like a pretty short reign. But also the notion of all this stupid, because he's not one to shy away from humor. So
no,
the shit he'd end up doing as a unwilling member of the JAS would probably be pretty hilarious. But the thing about this that kind of got me was we're getting Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia again for the pure title, which they have great matches every time they wrestle each other. But I wouldn't mind seeing a different opponent for Daniel Garcia at Final Battle. I
wouldn't either. There's a number of names that have popped up on Dark and Elevation that I would love to see.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Deppen would be a fantastic choice for a pure title shot. Hot Sauce Tracy Williams was just on this past week. He would be a fantastic choice. Former ROH TV champion. Josh Woods is still floating on the company, albeit, with Smart Mark Sterling, so kind of a heel situation. I don't know if that necessarily flies.
He's kind of locked up in that tag team with Tony Nese, it feels like now.
He is. I tweeted this earlier. I'm still on Angelico for ROH Pure Division.
That'd be
BS. I want Angelico in the Pure Division.
That would be cool as fuck because he definitely has the technical chops that scream Pure Division, but then also he still does shit that is not box standard Pure Wrestling. That would be really spice it up.
Amazing fit.
I love that. That's a good shout. I really like that.
I've wanted it for a while. I name dropped it with Kylie on the Code of Honor podcast months ago. I have wanted Angelico in that division forever, and I still want that. So, but that said, Wheeler's going to be a fantastic choice. You've got to think there's a possibility that he takes the title off of Garcia here just to I don't know. We keep fantasy booking Daniel Garcia leaving the JAS, and it's entirely possible that maybe it just doesn't happen. But I think on some level you want to get the pure title off of Garcia, if for no other reason than the fact that I don't think he's going to be part of the new ROH. I don't think Tony Khan is going to want to let him go. I think he's going to want to keep that star that's about to explode right where it is on the AEW roster, which means somebody's got to take it from him. And with the BCC breaking up, there's no real clear landing spot for Wheeler Yuta. I mean, the BCC is going through their implosion. Claudio is going to go to the JAS, probably. I'm picking Jericho to win that. Yeah. Spoiler here. So he's going to have his whole thing. Danielson and Moxley are going to be wrapped up around this William Regal and MJF thing. And poor Utes is just going to, where's he at? Obvious solution, put the pure title back on him, let him be a pure wrestling stud in the new ROH, and, away we go.
Yeah. That I'm down with that, and it's a rematch. So for me, I'd love to see a different opponent, but at the same time, those are all great points. And also, either way, it's not like Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta have had bad matches. I've watched them wrestle each other 3 times in the last 12 months, and I'm happy to watch it again. Just
they are both very good at professional wrestling.
Yeah. Just, if we're going to keep the pure title around, then establishing more than 2 contenders in the division would be probably a good thing to do at some point in time. Speaking of Ring of Honor, though, Ring of Honor television champion and TNT champion Samoa Joe, double champ, the king of television, taking on I'm so happy I get to say this, Carl, taking on the, as of today, signed All Elite AR Fox, the most like collective sigh of relief I've ever seen breathed on Twitter amongst the wrestling community. And that's how that for me, that's like how that somebody is just a special talent and a special person when an entire community will celebrate this. Like everybody was just positivity about this. Honestly, like it's not an angle, but it's one of him being signed to a major company is like one of the best payoffs in wrestling. I'm just so happy.
And AR Fox has been doing this for 15 years. Samoa Joe even longer than that. This is that I can find. This is the first time they have ever met one-on-one.
Wild.
Through all the indies, all CZW, all everywhere. This is the first time one-on-one for the two of them.
That actually surprises me.
Surprised me as well. I always like to look for stuff like that, and I could not find anything. And maybe it happened somewhere and hasn't been documented in a place that I can find. I can't find any record of it ever happening before one-on-one.
I feel like if it's not on Cage Match, it didn't happen. There's rarely matches missed on there. I was over the moon for this match just because I'm so happy for AR Fox and seeing him on my TV. But then the match itself, I had no preconceived notion in my mind at any point prior, from the moment this match got announced until the moment the bell rang after it was over, that AR Fox was going to win. But what I was hoping would happen did happen, and that was he was going to get in enough of his insanely unique offense to really give people who are watching a taste of what he can do. I love that they did the walkaway spot twice in this match, and the first time was so cool because they used it on a ridiculous dive to the outside that Joe walked away from, and they highlighted AR Fox's agility with it by having him land on his feet and just walk up behind Joe and then drop kick him when he turned around. That was amazing.
As Joe's mean mug into the camera. It's just great stuff.
They did it again later in the match just to actually, get the, to kind of get the shit in, so to speak, there.
Yeah.
But the thing that really stood out to me watching this from an AR Fox perspective is we're all well aware of all the crazy athletic agile things he does. He is one of the most unique and insane acrobatic high flyers, and just has his own style and little variation of everything. But during the picture-in-picture break, Samoa Joe was just cranking on his neck and his head, and AR Fox I was just tweeting about I'll be honest, normally picture-in-picture, I know nothing crazy is going to happen. That's when I kind of update my notes, get my tweets off. And I looked up from my phone, and the expressions on AR Fox's face as he's yelling for Samoa Joe, I was like, damn, he's fucking going to tear his head off with his bare hands. He was bumping for Samoa Joe like he was fucking wrestling the Incredible Hulk tonight. It was so fucking good. And again, AR Fox, he's a complete package. This is one of the best signings. This is one that people are gonna kind of sleep on because it's not a household name. But if you know who AR Fox is, you already know this was a fucking brilliant idea. And the match was just such a good way to introduce the world with just a little taste of what he's capable of, between that and the trios match with Top Flight. And now I think they can just keep building off of this, and I think there's honestly some really good potential for pushing AR Fox here.
failing all else, Fox is going to be a great guy to have backstage. He's been doing this for 15 years. He's been into training. He's been in a variety of styles. It's just going to be another guy backstage to bounce off of, and it's going to be fantastic in its own right.
Oh, hell yeah.
And there's so many guys, even as long as he's been around, there's fresh matchups for him backstage right now. This one was one that nobody ever... This falls comfortably into that category of I never knew I needed this in my life until it was dangled in front of me. I just double checked just now. I was on my phone checking it out. You know who he's never, another guy he's never actually met one-on-one. Matt Sydal.
He tweeted about this match, by the way, tonight.
He never gotten AR Fox versus Matt Sydal.
He retweeted the match graphic with 3 eyes, and I'm just like, ooh, I didn't even know they hadn't wrestled before, but now that I know that, I want to see even more. But we did Dante Martin versus AR Fox on a dark, and it got like less than 5 minutes. Imagine them getting 10 or 12 to play with. Yep.
And the kind of insanity.
Honestly, I could pull up the roster page right now, and I don't think that there would be a name that I could stop at where I'd be like, I don't want to see that. Like that, I'll take AR Fox versus everybody. I've been enjoying him for a lot, like through all the indie deep diving I've had to do. I'm just like, I'm fascinated by AR Fox. He's just from another planet. So
yeah, he's so good, so smooth. Going to be a great addition, and
I want them to give us a run back of AR Fox versus Swerve. They had one of the best death matches ever in Lucha Underground, and if you can find a way to give us that shit again, I'd be so happy.
No, man, that was kill shot. What are you talking about? Swerve doesn't wear a mask. Come on.
Oh, come on now.
Kayfabe is alive and well.
Never. Never.
This was.
Kayfabe's dead as fuck. People have been pissing on its grave too.
This was very good. I don't think, like you said, anybody really believed that Fox was going to take the TNT title, but it was a good introduction for some of what he can do. And they even left a lot on the bone for future matches potentially. And hey, and then we moved on to what I presume is one of Joe's next challengers for one of those belts, at least.
Yeah, Wardlow popped up on the monitor.
Looking dapper as heck in a turtleneck there. By the way,
called his shot. He wants his TNT title back. We knew it was coming. He lost it in a triple threat. He's going to want to get that one back.
Yeah, so turtleneck LL Bean Wardlow was always all trying to getting ready to take back what was his. And
then right after this too, we got a video package for Powerhouse Hobbs. Walking through the streets, intimidating passersby. Walked into a barbershop with the to be continued at the end, so I'm wondering what he's going to do with the barbershop. Like, it almost looked like he was going in there to whoop someone's ass.
Like, it definitely felt like a weird cut point. But that being said, hey, good stuff. Get more shine to Hobbs, which is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Wardlow's felt a little bit more like a direct challenge to Joe. Hobbs was just like, I'm going to wreck this whole place.
I feel like we could see Wardlow versus Joe at Winter is Coming for that TNT title.
I would see that.
But, I'd like to know who Joe's going to have for the ROH TV title at Final Battle. That's
I would like to know that as well. Obviously, that seems like something that they're going to be thinking about because of the fact that Joe has been so front and center on the advertising for the show.
Hobbs, perhaps?
Could be. It'd be an interesting call.
I feel like it's I don't know, because Hobbs is kind of getting he's getting that start of the intimidating monster push right now, and I don't see Joe really losing the TV title. I see him losing the TNT title to Wardlow faster than I see him losing the TV title to Hobbs at Final Battle.
Well, it's an interesting dynamic that they've set up with Joe now, where you're not really sure where he's going to wind up. Is he going to be a part of the ROH roster moving forward, in which case he would likely drop the TNT, or vice versa? And is he going to drop the ROH TV title to somebody else? You know, I could see either one. My fantasy booking has gone completely out the window. I wanted Joe to be the guy to knock off Jericho at Final Battle and take the title, and then, you know, carry that into TV. But looks like that's clearly not happening. So, if it were me, I wanted Cage to take the TV title off of Joe.
I liked the notion of maybe like Hobbs taking that TV title off of Joe's, but I don't know. I like Hobbs,
but I just don't,
I like Hobbs in the AEW landscape.
Yeah, I just don't see Hobbs as an ROH guy. I think he's another guy that Tony, I don't think is going to want to.
No, he's a TV star. Like,
yeah, I don't think he's a guy that Tony's going to want to let go to ROH, which is going to by any objective metric, is probably going to be a smaller audience and is probably going to play to smaller houses. I just don't think that jives. But
yeah,
we'll see. We got a couple of weeks yet, and we got a little under 2 weeks until Final Battle. So I have to hook it up sooner or later.
The wheels are definitely turning on what you know, on Hobbs right now anyway. So we'll find out as the vignettes progress. After this, we got to another real meaty segment here in the show. William Regal comes out to introduce the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, who he had a lot to say tonight.
He did.
It felt long, but he also had like a whole lot of points that he was making and addressing. So, you know, it did take him some time to have to get through all that. Talked about,
well, when you have to stop every third word to call the audience pores and, you know, make that joke for the 700,000th time, then that does tend to pad things a bit. But I do want to give credit to the commentary team that credited Moxley being out of the building and the knowledge that Moxley was out of the building for why Regal chose that moment to come out, to tie that together. I appreciate it. I saw that. I appreciated that.
Yep. Speaking of what, I have something to add to that later, but yeah, we had, you know, MJF kind of, he laid out, he called out some names here. He specifically spoke the name Eddie Kingston.
And specifically pointed out he will never be world champion.
Yeah, I heard him say that, and I was like, oh, he's going to beat you for that title.
Which it may not be MJF, but coming from a heel like MJF, that is all but a guarantee, good as gold. Eddie Kingston will one day be world champion.
Yeah.
To me, that is now set in stone.
Yeah.
It's just a question of when it's going to happen.
So he spoke Eddie Kingston's name directly. Obviously called out Ricky Starks because he's got him coming up at Winter is Coming. Who else did he call out here?
The fake wrestler, yes. American Dragon, Bryan Danielson.
He did. And then, yeah, he launched into kind of he explained his reasons for, you know, how him and Regal ended up hooking up and just planting a knife in Moxley's back. You know, like you said, talked a lot of shit to the audience. I'll be honest, I really missed this MJF. Like, seeing him be like, I'm not that bad of a dude. I'm going to do it the right way. I was like, okay, something's up here. Everything feels weird, though. It's all like backwards. Just tell me my mother swallows and that I'm poor, please. I missed that side of MJF so bad. I was super happy to see it back tonight. It did feel a little long, but like I said, you know, there was a lot of points he had to get out. But the main point of this was when he pulled the brass knuckles out of his pocket and started telling William Regal how much he, thanking him for the use of the brass knuckles and helping him to beat Mox. And, he's kind of putting Regal over. And honestly, as soon as he put them on his hand, I was like, I know what's coming here. But he really tap danced around it for a minute. And then, yeah, he just put Regal down with a brutal shot to the back of the head. There's a tweet that got put. So, if you follow at BodySlamNet on Twitter, our wonderful news writers are always live tweeting away for any televised wrestling that's going on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday night. And lead news writer Corey Brennan put out a very nice tweet about this tonight. Danielson sprinting out of the trainer's room. This is why he was terrified last week. It was a very well done segment. You set up Regal's fragility last week with a completely justified Mox not even doing it. MJF truly is the devil. And I never even drew that. Like, I didn't even put that together at any point during this. What really, the thing that I was like, oh shit, was when MJF was standing over Regal's just crumpled body and basically quoted back his email to him, the response that MJF got from Regal about joining WWE that was like discussed months ago, earlier this year. And I love the way they circle back to this shit.
And you also missed an incredibly important aspect of this. MJF's new custom AEW World Title belt with a custom Burberry leather strap.
Oh, I didn't miss it. I skipped it on purpose.
Oh, come on now. Come on.
Man.
Hey, a new strap is an easy way to personalize something like that for a character like MJF without going to the trouble of getting a new belt made. It's real easy to switch those plates over and just to knock that out.
It is.
It lets him have some fun.
It is a nice play. The Triple B, the big Burberry belt,
and. Watching this back, and I don't know if this was an intended character beat or if this is just my storytelling brain attributing things to it. I watched it back a couple of times, and obviously you see him put the knucks on. He does it in full view of Regal. He's not trying to hide this. And I think you see Regal sort of close his eyes as MJF is talking to him, putting him over, and you see his head drop just a little bit, just a couple inches, as Max walks around behind him. To me, Regal, the character, knows this is coming. And there's a sense of, just do it. Just get this over with.
There's an interesting dynamic here, too, for Regal, because now he's turned his back on Jon Moxley to align with MJF, who's now also left him high and dry. And he's like kind of in this like limbo where he only has Bryan Danielson to fall on, it seems, right now, and to defend him. And it's an interesting arc to leave Regal hanging in, Danielson as well, for that matter, because like he did come to Regal's defense and begged off Moxley last week, also, obviously Regal, there'll be no love lost for him from many of the fans now in terms of response after betraying Moxley. Although, he probably won a few people's hearts back with the way he got brutalized by MJF tonight.
Well, Regal still has his hippie son, and
his hippie son, who has still to this day always come out of the heel tunnel, though.
Yep.
So even that, there's no predicting anything right now. It feels like in terms of this Regal storyline, which is actually it's I don't know, it's a place I like to be in where I'm like, man, they could do this or this or this or this. There's so many fun ways they could take it.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very intrigued to see where it goes. And part of me wonders if this isn't going to see Regal eventually slotted over to ROH.
Ooh.
If Mox is pretty much telling him to walk and keep walking, oh, it's awful. I mean, Tony Khan does own an entire other wrestling company that, while it exists in the same multiverse, if you will, Regal and ROH is not going to cross paths very often with Moxley in AEW.
Yep, and I do, I once they do have their own thing established, I don't think there will be as much bleed over as there is right now.
Also, I haven't name dropped this guy in a long time, but my mind instantly turned to bringing him into ROH when he left his previous employer. I haven't heard a peep out of Nigel McGuinness since he left WWE.
Yes. Oh man, I'd take him any role. I'd love obviously I love his dulcet tones on commentary. But obviously the coaching prowess and knowledge he could bring as a coach, producer, agent, and on screen in any kind of role, depending on where he's at physically. I doubt he'd be wrestling, but you never know. Weirder things have happened in these last couple of years.
Give me a 3-man booth of Ian Riccaboni, Caprice Coleman, and Nigel McGuinness, and give me William Regal as the on-screen ROH matchmaker.
That'd be pretty cool. I like that.
I'm sold.
I'll ship that.
But that said, we've got a lot of places this can go, like you said. We also can't forget that MJF continued to tease the bidding war of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
As he once again promised to hold the AEW title all through 2023 into 2024, and to use that as his ultimate bargaining chip, once again name dropping Nick Khan and Triple H, which that's going to get old real fast.
I feel like, honestly, I feel like the amount he leans into it, it's like you're probably already locked up past 2024.
That said, this probably could have accomplished what it did in potentially half the time. I noticed that MJF's very good at what he does. He's a great talker, but I feel like I continually feel like he could get his stuff done quicker.
There's there's space to it. He's one of so I've said on a number of occasions, I generally don't really care too much for promos and segments and stuff. The bulk of what I like as a wrestling fan is just dope wrestling matches. So the more of that I can get on my show, the happier I am. But there are select individuals who, if they have a microphone in their hand, I actually completely abandon that philosophy. And I'm just and he's one of them. So it did go a little longer for me than we could have drawn out some more of the matches, maybe giving poor Ari Daivari a little bit more of a chance in the next match with a shorter segment here, but
absolutely not. Ari Daivari is there to just get
absolutely
murked.
Hey man, you didn't get entrance music, you're dead. You didn't get you didn't even get an entrance. You're getting 3 minutes or less, homie.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened. Ricky Starks.
This was what it was.
Ari Daivari.
An excuse to get Ricky Starks some TV time and let him murk somebody en route to his title match in 2 weeks.
I liked what they did here with it too. Having Ethan Page and Sophie Hathaway come out. First of all, Matt Hardy trying to get himself over Ethan Page was hilarious. They've been doing a lot with this, with Private Party and Matt Hardy and Ethan and Stokely behind the scenes a lot. There's been a lot of clips on YouTube and Twitter about the
go watch Dark. Go watch Dark from this past week, the one that aired just yesterday, November 29th. Great stuff. They've been running a lot of this angle on Dark with Ethan Page trying to get under Matt Hardy and Private Party's skin. I'll spoil a little bit of it for you. Ethan Page on Dark last night promised Matt Hardy that the next time Hardy gets out of line and tries to defy Page or tries to defy the Firm, he's taking it out on Private Party. So that's where we've got that. And then sticks his chin right in Matt's face and goes, "Defy me.
Yeah.
Try me. And it's like, I will make those kids' life hell." And it's great stuff. Great stuff.
Uncle Matt's got to stay in line for his boys. He didn't do it tonight. He just jumped right out in front of Ethan Page, started deleting. I know. So I like what's going on here though, because we have obviously Ethan Page and the Firm are no longer at the employ of MJF, it seems. And so we have a little dynamic there between presumably Ethan Page and MJF eventually. And then Ricky Starks in the very immediate future has MJF in his sights. But then, we've got these guys a little hot right now. We kind of got something going on between them as well. So when MJF eventually disposes of one or both of them for the world title in the Dynamite Diamond Ring, then we have some Ethan Page and Ricky Starks that we can kind of play with here for a little while and kind of keep both of them in the forefront on TV, letting them get their time on the screen, keep them fresh in everyone's minds. I love it. I'm always happy to see more of Ethan Page. Shout out Hamilton, Ontario, the greatest city on earth.
Exactly. Now this was great stuff, and I love the idea of sort of continuing and revisiting that feud after the title shot. I imagine some people probably theorize that you have Page get involved in some capacity to cost Starks the title. I don't think you go that route. I can see why people would think it, but I don't think you go that route. I think you have MJF just win it clean. But I guess you never know. We'll see in a couple of weeks.
Yep. Got another segment after this match, though. Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker backstage. Britt Baker hogging the mic time from Jamie Hayter again to start this off here. But Jamie Hayter speaks up, cuts her way in, and also points out a very interesting and contentious fact. Why the hell does Saraya have a sit-down with Renee Paquette on Rampage this week, and the Women's World Champion doesn't? It's a fantastic question, Kyle.
It is an excellent question, and one that I don't think we really got a great answer for necessarily. Everything just kind of got pushed aside, and
no answers. But
yeah, Jamie's going to get her chance. It sounds like, so there's at least that.
Yeah, Jamie Hayter with Shivani next week. I'm excited for that because I don't know. Tony always just has this hilarious dynamic with everybody. And he has his own unique little dynamic with everybody too. Like he's not the same personality with every wrestler. He's got like his own way of addressing and speaking with everybody. So we get the like Britt Baker lapdog version of Tony Schiavone kind of. But I don't know if Jamie Hayter is going to get the same thing, or if it's going to be. She was kind of talking down to him and more like intimidating him. I wonder if we get like a Tony Schiavone's afraid of Jamie Hayter thing. I love it.
Schiavone's different stuff with different performers is always great. I love the dynamic that he has where Tony Schiavone is to MJF what JR was to Triple H circa about 1999 or 2000, right about
oh my god, that's amazing. Yes,
we're just stopping just short of just openly wishing death upon this character. Just the level of hatred and vitriol is just so high.
It will
never not be amazing.
I can very easily hear Tony Schiavone one day just saying, "Damn you, MJF! Damn you to hell!
you son of a bitch!"
He probably had. I feel like if I go back and watch every MJF segment or match, there's bound to be a Tony Schiavone calling him the son of a bitch on commentary already. It's got to exist.
I guarantee it.
Sleuths of YouTube, find it, please.
The comparison is right there, and it was just But hey, so we're gonna get some more of that. Hopefully, we'll get some more light on who the first challenger is going to be for Jamie.
Yeah,
we're still not really sure where that's going to go. I don't think you go Saraya right away.
I hope not.
But it would stand as a possibility. I mean, in the universe that they've built, beating Britt Baker clean, that carries some weight.
It does. You know? It does. And her complaining about Saraya getting a segment tonight already kind of, it alludes to some heat.
Yeah, I like I say, I don't think that's where you go, but I can see how you would get there. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Honestly, at this point though, like, you just let Jamie Hayter run the table on the division. I'd be so happy to watch her just wrestle anybody and everybody. We had, actually, speaking of the women's division, Anna Jay taking on Willow Nightingale. This is a great match. Willow, strong as hell. Anna Jay keeps getting better. But, just keeps getting better and better. She's improving across the board. It's insane. Like, I always have to stop myself and, remind myself, Anna Jay has been wrestling for like 3 years tops now.
Something like that. It hasn't been long.
No. And so, like, she's having perfectly fine matches on TV, and to be only that far in, she's going to keep getting better and better.
Hey, the style clash was evident. Obviously, Willow's going to use her. I'm pretty sure Willow's a little bit more experienced and has the power advantage.
Yep.
So
versus sneaky, dirty tactics.
Yes. The cheating that Tony Schiavone refers to with the JAS,
which only like enhances the fact that like Willow is literally one of the most squeaky clean baby faces you could possibly name in wrestling, like, period. Right now, her whole everything is just like a fucking ray of sunshine on everyone's day is like her gimmick. Basically, she's just the happiest fucking person.
No, it's great. It was great stuff. It was good to see Willow get a win on TV over a pretty established name in Anna Jay. Yes. So that's fantastic.
Dr. Bomb was crazy.
Oh, tremendous stuff there. I still think Willow is ROH bound. Mm-hmm. I think Willow's ROH bound, and it would not shock me to see her as a future ROH Women's World Champion. I don't know if you don't put that belt on Athena right now. Athena's laid down I think you put that title on Athena, and I think somewhere in the spring or summer of 2023, I think you put it on Willow. But
I like so I'm right on the same page with you, where I was like, Willow she's giving I'm going to beat Mercedes Martinez eventually for that title vibes. And until that Death Before Dishonor match with Athena and Mercedes was announced, I was like, yeah, I think this is probably Willow's belt to win. It makes a lot of sense for Athena to be the one holding that title. Like Mercedes Martinez, credible veteran, not as active and, would say probably not at the level she's been at previously. Athena, still a very credible veteran, wrestles her fucking ass off still right now, like actively. So having that belt on her is a great way to have some banger women's title matches in that division. And then also you have like an established veteran name that everybody is, like she's outside of her, run in NXT, also former NXT women's champion. She had a very lengthy time wrestling independently before that as well. She's like, she's been doing it for a long time. So,
but that said, big win for Willow. I think that I continue to see big things in her future.
Her and Athena would be a cool matchup down the road too.
But you saw Willow leave the ring pretty quickly after the celebration, and Ty Mello and Anna Jay sort of take their time getting out of the ring, and that that starts setting off alarm bells. Something weird's about to happen. And sure enough, we revisited the theme of the night again for returns. And we had another name come back.
Ruby Soho.
Ruby Soho made her return with
Ruby's
the old
back.
With the old trick 'em with the entrance video bit.
Mm-hmm.
And just beat the holy high hell out of Ty Mello.
Wrestlers got to stop falling for that one, man. Like, okay, if the music starts and you don't see them in like 5-10 seconds, just turn around. Just turn around. They're coming.
See, and then you're just going to have an arms race now, because then if you're going to try that gimmick, then you've got to come from a part in the crowd where they're not going to be expecting, where it's not directly behind you. You have to come from off from one of the sides.
I would like it if that happened just at least once. That is like, okay, so that's one trope that I always have a gripe on. And then the other one is when somebody attempts a power bomb and they can only lift them like halfway, then just pile drive them then and there. Like, you've already got them for the pile driver. I know you're trying the power bomb. You want to be all strong and cool. Just pile drive them.
Yeah. See, now you said this. Now I want to see like a wide shot somewhere of a baby face trying to make that through the crowd attack, but then the heel in the ring turns around and looks behind them for a change. And the babyface got, oh shit, and just start taking the long route around the other side of the ring, and it just turns into this whole ordeal of nonsense. And
I'm down for it. I love me some shenanigans in wrestling. It's wrestling. If you're gonna do some shenanigans anywhere, that's a pretty awesome place to have it happen. So
hey, I love silly stuff in my wrestling. I was a big Chikara fan for a long time. So
hey, well, speaking of Chikara, Orange Cassidy backstage with QT Marshall. I'm fucking killing the segues tonight, man.
He's a hot property.
This is okay. Full disclosure. This is probably my favorite gimmick in all of pro wrestling right now, where Orange Cassidy is at the backstage interview area. Someone else is challenging him to a title match, and they don't even get the sentence out about wanting to challenge for the title. He's just like, yeah, sure, Friday, Rampage. See you then.
Oh, okay. Bye.
Yeah. Oh, lumberjack match? Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get QT Marshall versus Orange Cassidy in a lumberjack match. This is going to get slept on by a lot of people, and that's fine. You're going to be sad when you realize, oh shit, this was a cooker.
It's going to be fun. There's going to be shenanigans on the outside. Danhausen is going to curse somebody. He may punch somebody in the dick.
He might have. We might have evil Satan Danhausen, and he'll have his spike in teeth.
There may or may not be teeth involved. You got to watch to find out. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. QT and Orange Cassidy are going to have an awesome match. QT Marshall is one of the most slandered wrestlers I've ever seen online, and deserves absolutely none of it.
He's perfect. He is perfectly solid at what he does.
He's a consummate professional.
Yep.
He's not like I what I'd really love to know is, like, with his producer, like, agent, like, backstage role, how many matches have people watched at pay-per-views or on Dynamite and been like, holy fuck, match of the year? And I want to know how many of those actually, he's been involved in the production of. I'm very curious to know this, because I have a feeling that there's going to be, like, people going, oh, what, really? Like, I just have a feeling. Like, I'm so curious to know. I have to, at some point in time, find this information out. But
yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be fun watching him and Orange Cassidy wrestle on Friday. I hope that QT Marshall does a 450 splash, because he can do one, and it's fucking cool. It always freaks me out. QT Marshall, a.k.a. Jacked Kevin Spacey. He looked. Come on, like it's kind of uncanny.
It is, but
yeah.
Is Kevin Spacey really the name you want to drop?
No, but it's just like who else looks like that?
Fair point.
You know what else? Someone else pointed out to me last week, and I was like, "Oh shit, I kind of can't unsee it now."
What's that?
Jake Hager looks like the larger, more like buffed version of like Orange Cassidy's older brother. Like they look like they could be like a really big brother and a little brother.
It's the slacker and his doofus jock older brother.
They could be like like I don't know. I was gonna say Brady and Gronkowski, but like Brady is not a slacker.
I was gonna say like something out of a John Hughes movie, but you know.
True. You know, speaking of professional sports, it's time for Game 3. No, it's not. Fuck, we had the Jade Cargill segment. I prematurely sports centered. God damn it.
That's okay. That happens to a lot of men your age.
Yeah. Hey, it's perfectly natural. It happens to all of us. There's nothing to be ashamed of, Kyle. We had Jade's big ass celebration. She came out, she reamed out her baddies for still hanging out with Kira Hogan on the weekend. Really seems like she's maybe starting to distance herself from the baddies now, and you know we might have Jade kind of going it alone. Although we did see Smart Mark pop back up last week, which was pretty cool. I missed their dynamic. I liked that. I don't think Jade needs like the mouthpiece necessarily, but just like having this nerdy dude to just kind of like verbally abuse at her and have it her like beck and call it fucking hilarious. It was so funny. Every superstar needs the like assistant that they can belittle. So if we're gonna push the baddies away, Smart Mark's a good way to go. My thoughts on this segment are it felt like a whole lot of pomp and circumstance for just a Bow Wow video at the end.
Yeah.
But I don't think it part of me thinks there's more to it than just a Bow Wow video. But what?
There's a lot of stuff that this felt very odd.
Like they're not going to wrestle an intergender match of Bow Wow and Jade Cargill. Like you have what you're like we're not going to do like a celebrity match where I don't know. See if Bow Wow found a tag partner and Jade Cargill found like also a tag partner, could make it work. Like kind of like the Velvet and Cody versus Shaq and Jade Cargill sort of thing. But it felt like too much pomp and circumstance for that to be what comes of this, and I don't know. I'm very confuzzled.
The whole thing to me felt very disjointed. It felt very abrupt. It felt a little rushed, and it made me wonder if something Maxwell didn't run long early in the show, and we had to take some time out of this. That being said, I felt like there might be a possibility that you might be setting up Red Velvet to turn, and take a run at Jade. It felt like you were setting up a return or a debut of some sort of somebody else to challenge her. That didn't materialize.
And there was like a very felt like designated moment where that was gonna happen, where she was like, "Who's gonna step up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, who's gonna step up?" Everyone in the crowd is like standing, looking at the fucking Videotron.
Yeah, there was Chekhov's cake in the ring that did not actually get used. My wrestling brain has been trained that anytime you see a cake, it's going in someone's face. That didn't happen. Not that I'm complaining, because oh my God, is that overdone? But realistically, it feels like the most likely outcome here is that Bow Wow seconds someone to challenge Jade and probably wind up being the person to unseat Jade.
Well, somebody chatted very, very early on in the show, and I've seen since this segment took place tonight, I have seen this get thrown out on Twitter a few times. I'll address it. I'll humor it. I don't know, though. But, so Snoop discovered Bow Wow. The Snoop Dogg connection making it kind of maybe plausible that somehow Bow Wow brings Sasha or Mercedes money into AEW.
And don't forget, Snoop has appeared in AEW.
He has too. Jade Cargill was wearing a fucking money suit in the ring tonight. And like that, see that who like that again. Like I don't
see that. I don't see that. I don't see Jade's outfit as being indicative of anything.
No, because she loves money anyway. But like,
yeah, she's been leaning into that greenest money forever.
There was a lot of like money discussion in both like Bow Wow kind of really in one of the things he said, he kind of sort of leaned into the word money.
Time is money, and I love money.
Mm-hmm. And Jade also did kind of reference money in her promo as well. It's there. I don't know. I think there's a lot of red herrings, but it's.
I'll go so far as to say it's possible.
I see it as plausible, but like it still feels far-fetched to me to think.
Yeah, I would agree. I will say plausible, but unlikely. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll come on here in 2 or 3 weeks' time with whomever is co-hosting with me.
I'll be in the chat just eating crow with you, bud.
There you go. And maybe I'll be wrong. And maybe Mercedes will make her AEW debut in a couple of weeks, win the TBS title, huge pomp and circumstance and celebration, and who knows?
I will say Winter is Coming wouldn't be the first time that somebody iconic has debuted in AEW. That is where Sting made his debut in AEW. They're not opposed to using that. And then like also Winter is Coming was the same place where we had like Kenny Omega defeat Jon Moxley, leaves the building with Don Callis and drops that he'll be on Impact Wrestling the following night or the week after. I can't remember if that was before Impact got to Thursdays or not.
They do like to do big things at Winter is Coming.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but like it just feels like it's pretty close to like we're hitting like the atmosphere layer of the realm of possibility for this. Like I feel it's just I don't know, and I think maybe some of it's me not wanting to get my hopes up too, because like I don't want to think she, because like obviously that'd be a Titanic signing.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
I would go so far as to say it would rival, if not surpass, Punk for that level of, because Punk had gone almost long enough that you can't really say that he ever left the consciousness of wrestling fans. Mm-hmm. But this would be Mercedes at the absolute height of her power in the prime of her career, making a major jump.
Yeah, and I'm sure I'm sure Tony Khan wouldn't hesitate to throw an absolute assload of money her way.
No.
That being said, too, like that even removing her from the equation, all in all, the women's division is really kind of popping off right now. There's angles brewing in multiple corners, and we do have a lot of kind of moving pieces going on in there right now. This would be a very, very good time to kind of strike while the iron's hot on the division itself and feature it more often. Kind of build up these feuds, build up these interactions between the roster, because I can't think of a time where there's ever been more individual angles happening in the division simultaneously then, like literally tonight.
Yeah. You've got Jamie Hayter with the big belt. You've got the will she or won't she with Britt. You've got Saraya sort of flying under the radar. You've got the ongoing saga of who's going to finally unseat Jade. You've got the baddies floating in and out of that equation. You've now got the undercard feud with Ruby Soho and Ty Mello, and you've got talented performers waiting to come off the injured list.
Mm-hmm.
You got Chris Statlander, who will be coming back in the next couple of months with her bad knee. You've got Layla Hirsch. I got to think is going to be ready to come back.
Stat was like kind of teasing today too. She posted a picture on Instagram of her standing at the a picture of one of her entrances, which she hasn't been posting a ton of stuff like that recently. So she did bring Orange Cassidy his backpack in Toronto actually, and she's just walking on a brace now. So.
And I'm going to continue to name drop Layla Hirsch because I miss her in action and I want to see her back healthy again because she was doing some great work before she went out injured. Athena is doing her heel turn on Dark and Elevation, and she's building towards an ROH women's title shot at Mercedes Martinez. So there's a lot going on in this division. That's just scratching the surface.
Yeah, it's what better time to do something monumental, but also like what better time to just like, all right, make use of this and just like do like even just do regular stuff, like use what you got going. All right, well, I fucked this up earlier, but now it's time for Game 3, the Elite versus Death Triangle. Interesting series so far. We've got the Elite down 2-0. Kenny Omega definitely carrying a lot of the work for the Elite team so far. Haven't been able to out-hammer the Death Triangle. But, and we had Matt Jackson kind of drop the ball last week. It took a little too much time filleting the hammer and not enough bashing skulls in with it. And, kind of cost them there in the moment. So we'll see how
it's a common rookie mistake with your hammer.
Yep. We'll we'll see how the Elite look to bounce back. Both teams, incredible effort tonight. They really went out there and did it. Pac made a bid for player of the game. Made a bid for highlight of the night too with the Falcon Arrow. That shit looked sickening. I thought he killed Kenny Omega.
He did the deal.
Yeah. I would really like to see Brandon Cutler and Alex Abrahantes maybe mix it up a little on the outside of the ring. I think we need the bench players to make more of an effort to, get their presence known in the series. But yeah, like all in all, really, like after after last week, there was some trade talks going on about Matt Jackson, and he really came out and had a statement game tonight. And yeah, you love to see it. The Elite taking the W here. Matt Jackson getting the pin here. And
he did. He really stepped up in the clutch for his team, in the bottom of the ninth. He really came out and got it done.
Yeah. No, we got a series though now. Yeah, it's 2-1 Death Triangle. The Elite crawled back in it tonight. We actually get a week off. We have a bye week next week. Game 4 will be at Winter is Coming. So, both teams are going to get to come in off of some rest, a little more time to strategize, a little more time to practice. I think we're going to see fireworks at Winter is Coming.
Absolutely. And no, this was wild stuff from the word go. This was just all high octane, just like you'd expect. If I can drop the sports metaphor for a bit here, I need Kenny Omega to stop bumping directly onto his neck. Can we not? My God! Between the Avalanche Falcon arrow that he landed real high, between the snap German from Pac, between the Guitarro Crusher on the stage, like that. I mean, that was on his hip, but
yeah,
Jesus, Kenny.
He's definitely giving me some scares, like legit.
I know.
We just got you back. Please don't do it.
I know he loves Kota Ibushi, but he does not need to treat his neck with that level of reckless disdain.
For real though. He's the Avalanche Falcon Arrow. One, I think it was in the Full Gear match. It was actually they did it in the first two matches, but Kenny shoots off the ropes, Pac ducks him, and Kenny grabs the ropes, like the top rope, like this with his chest, and then Pac like slingshot German suplexes him.
Yeah.
And both times he's done it, it's like back of the head, top of the neck, and I'm just like, fuck no, we just got Kenny Omega back. Please, no, don't hurt him. Please. But I think that I think that's been adding to the excitement of these matches for me, is that like I missed watching Kenny Omega wrestle so fucking bad the time he was gone. And then knowing how injured he was for that last like couple of years, really, but I'm sure it just got progressively worse for him over time. Like those last few months probably had to have been like fucking hell wrestling through.
Oh yeah.
And like he also still went and had both those Christian Cage matches, the Danielson match, the Hangman match, like so many ridiculously good matches with those terrible injuries. And I'm just like, he's back. He's probably healthier than he's been almost at any point while he's been in AEW.
Yeah.
I just don't want him to get hurt again. Please don't take my Kenny away.
Yeah. No, it's
please.
No, this was wild. We got a shorter overall match time because they brawled through the first commercial break even for a good 5 minutes plus on the floor and on the outside before the match even started. So they got to go bonkers with, cross bodies diving off the stage and Omega attempting a 40-yard dash running V-trigger and inevitably meeting a super kick at the end of it. And once it finally got into the ring, it just continued just at 1,000,000 miles a minute. Just fantastic stuff from 6 just absolutely phenomenal pro wrestlers. The Young Bucks busted out more bang for your buck tonight.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm so excited about this series, is because both of these teams have just like this back catalog of spots to the point where, like, you know what the Young Bucks haven't done? I don't think since they, like, at any point in this trio's run yet. And I don't recall the last time they did it as a tag team, like in just a 2v2 match. But the that Motor City Machine Guns sliced bread power bomb. Haven't seen that in like, it feels like a fucking year, Kyle.
They got a lot they can play with, and
it's awesome, man. I love it.
I loved seeing more bang for your buck tonight. I loved seeing Penta have to break it up to protect the move. I kind of like the idea of more bang for your buck being their match ender. This is we need to, if for whatever reason, if the Meltzer driver doesn't work, if the BTE trigger doesn't work, or they can't hit it, or whatever, that this is what we go to put somebody down.
Speaking of the finish to the match, that was one of the grossest looking knees up spots, like for a dive. Pac. So Pac went for the Black Arrow. Matt Jackson put the knees up. Pac was like,
"Oh man,
no, we'll take all of it." He basically belly flop, face planted onto Nick Jackson or Matt Jackson's shins.
Pac just ate it.
And like,
oh my goodness,
he went full limp to the point where I was like, he might actually just be out. He could just be out right now. He might not even be selling this. Like, that looked like fucking hell.
But it was again, a clean win.
This series is just going to be.
It was a clean win for the Bucks. A lot of people predicted that they would need to figure out a way to cheat better or cheat smarter to get one over with the hammer.
Saw the opposite here, actually.
Yeah,
Death Triangle trying to cheat, and Rey Fénix like vehemently denying Penta the use of the hammer to the point where, you know, you could argue that cost them the match right there. So,
it's an interesting dynamic they have going on here, because you're seeing Penta and Fénix clash over it almost more than Fénix and Pac. But I don't think that you break up Penta and Fénix, though. So it's going to be interesting to see how all those pieces continue to play as the series goes on.
Yeah, like, again, I feel like there's some kind of something being told with Death Triangle's entrance still, where you always have Fénix in front of the face tunnel, Pac's always in front of the heel tunnel, and Penta's just always in the middle. And at first I thought it was going to be more of a, like, you know, Fénix kind of stepping over to the other side as the series goes on. And I feel like the more the series goes on, it's actually going to be like Pac and Fénix battling for Penta's soul is like the underlying storyline here, where like one's the little angel on his shoulder and the other's his little bastard devil on his shoulder.
I mean, realistically, if this means at some point we get Fénix versus Pac.
Yeah, sign me up. Sign me up, man. Shit. If this means we get Fénix versus Pac, Fénix versus Penta, Penta versus Pac, I'll take any combination of those guys wrestling each other. JR said it best. For the whole trios series is like any combination of those 6 guys.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Sign me up.
Even if it's like interteam, give me the Jacksons against each other. Shit, I'll watch it. They'll cook.
Hey, I'm an ROH fan. I'm an ROH shill. We know this. ROH has run a show called Round Robin Challenge a couple of times. The first one was with Low-Key, Christopher Daniels, and Bryan Danielson back in 2002, where each one wrestled the other 2 over the course of one show. So you ran Danielson versus Daniels, Danielson versus Low-Key, and Low-Key versus Daniels.
Yeah.
You know, and it was, I forget which order they were in, but, you know, they ran all 3 of them in the course of one night. Fantastic stuff. You could even do something like that, and it would be amazing.
I'd love to see that. That's a great idea. But hey, Tony Khan, you own ROH. Do something. You know, that's the
Round Robin Challenge 3.
Yeah, do it up. Make it a thing. But who's your bid for series MVP so far?
So far, you gotta go with I gotta go with Fénix. He scored the fall in the pivotal first match. You know, he's continued to be a major player. He hasn't been he just continues to do just jaw-dropping things, and he seems to be a real pivotal performer for Death Triangle at this point. With them in the lead, I think Fénix right now is your MVP. But we'll see how the rest of the series continues to shake out.
I definitely agree. Fénix is making a pretty strong case for it right now. I have a sleeper pick that by the time this is all said and done, I think Nick Jackson will be the talk of the town, and he'll be lifting up the little finals MVP trophy with his trios championship.
Get Get the little thumbs up trophy that David Finlay had for C Block in the G1 Climax a few years back.
There we go.
When C Block wasn't actually an official thing, but a bunch of guys who weren't in the tournament just decided that they were going to be C Block, and they had
That's a deep cut you just brought out there.
And they had the dumbest little trophy with the saddest little like thumbs up thing on top of it, and but they all fought so damn hard for it.
It was basically the Orange Cassidy thumbs up in trophy form somehow. It's like they bronzed his hand.
And Kenny Omega got to close the show tonight.
Yeah, we got the goodbye and good night. Bang. Love it. I haven't seen that in a hot minute. I'm happy to get it.
And as I mentioned on Twitter, let's not forget, in 5 weeks' time, 5 weeks from tonight,
Wrestle Kingdom,
Kenny Omega will be at Wrestle Kingdom 17 taking on Will Ospreay for the IWGP US title.
You just reminded me that I'm booking that day off work because I want to watch it live, and I need to submit my time off request for that.
It's gonna slap. Like it's gonna be absolutely exceptional.
Yeah, I said that. I'm gonna book a day off work to watch Wrestle Kingdom live. Fight me. It happens once a year, you know. Like I don't normally stay up to watch live. I did this year for the G1 a little bit, or not G1, Super Junior.
Oh yeah.
I woke up really early, and some nights I stayed up really late to watch a bit of it, just because I was off work at the time, so had the time to do it. But
well, at this point,
it's tough waking up to watch New Japan live, man. Holy fuck!
At this point, we have 5 matches confirmed for Wrestle Kingdom,
and they all rule.
Jay White defending the IWGP World Heavyweight title against Kazuchika Okada.
Yep.
Kairi defending the IWGP Women's Championship against Tam Nakano. The NJPW World Television Championship will be decided between Zack Sabre Jr. and Ren Narita. Taiji Ishimori defends the Junior Heavyweight title against El Desperado, Hiromu, and Master Wato.
Yeah.
And of course, Ospreay versus Omega.
But also, we're going to have FTR defending against whoever wins Tag League. Probably Aussie Open, if I had to guess.
Which, if you didn't get a chance to see that match at Royal Quest.
Yeah, that's a tag match of the year for me. It was a tough one between that and surprisingly the first FTR and Briscoes match. I liked that more than the best 2 out of 3.
And there's talk that there will be more AEW involvement. Yeah. I can't imagine that Kenny Omega is going to be the only AEW talent involved. I think you're going to see more. So we'll still tie this back to Dynamite and talking about tonight. So it's okay. Well, we got back there.
The other thing too is we'll have the junior tag titles defended on there. I'm sure there's going to be a never open weight title match.
You've got to imagine.
They have 6-man titles. Like they have belts. They got belts that aren't even announced for matches on that show still. So there's going to be at least 4 more matches on there.
A lot of times at Wrestle Kingdom, the never 6-man titles are defended in a gauntlet match on the pre-show.
Yeah, pre-show. Yeah, usually pre-show, and then also the junior tag titles get the pre-show occasionally.
Sometimes that'd be the United Empire tandem, I believe, are still the champs there. But
yes. Yeah, so that'll be fun. Dynamite was fun. Sports Center was fun. Rampage is on Friday. We have Darby Allin versus Cole Carter on Rampage.
Opening the show.
Yep. Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett versus Private Party. I know that Kyle is he's crying tears of joy for how happy he is that Jeff Jarrett is wrestling yet again.
I was very clear about this. I was very, very clear about this.
Don't like it.
I was willing to I was willing to accept one Jeff Jarrett match as the price of admission to let him do his office backstage thing. We're now stretching that. I am not okay with this.
It's weird for me. I was never already I was genuinely not a fan of Jeff Jarrett when I was younger. And it turns out that hasn't changed into my adulthood. I like the meme. The idea of Jeff Jarrett just being the ultimate carny is like, that shit is funny to me. So like for him to show up and have like the odd segment here and there, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that carny fucking works there. That pops me. And like random acts of guitar shot every now and then, that'll pop me. Seeing Jeff Jarrett wrestle for like what, a third or fourth time now already in like a month, I don't need that in my life, bro. Come on.
There has been exactly one Jeff Jarrett match in his career, one, that I was a big fan of and that I would actually revisit in any way, shape, or form. It was the Intercontinental title match with Shawn Michaels at an In Your House in July of 1995. If you can find it, absolutely check it out. It is some awesome old school Memphis goodness that has sort of brought into more of the modern age with some of Shawn's higher flying offense. Look it up. Absolutely top notch. Beyond that, I have never had any use for anything Jeff Jarrett has ever done.
Something tells me I've watched that match as a child. So it was about the time where I was like, Mom, can I order the pay-per-view? Like, it's about the years where I started doing that. So I have a feeling I've seen that, and I know what you're talking about. This was when he was in the silver. Was this the silver collar with the like pinstripe shit era?
Okay. Yeah. That was 1995. He didn't he didn't change to the gear that you've seen more today until about 98 when he lost the hair match with X-Pac.
That was the With My Baby Tonight era?
That
match? Okay.
That was country music. That was still when the Road Dogg was still the roadie.
Oh, fuck. All right. No, we don't. Athena wrestles Danny Moe on Rampage. And Orange Cassidy and QT Marshall lumberjack match for the All Atlantic title. Three.
Watch her be cursed.
It's going to be 3 great matches on Rampage this week, and we can pretend that one of them doesn't happen. Yeah, shit. We're that's it. That was Dynamite tonight. That's Rampage on Friday. Where can everyone find you at, Kyle?
Oh man, well, find me at Kyle K Sparks on Twitter right there. That's also going to be my handle on Hive, Counter Social. I might even be on Mastodon somewhere if I can figure out where that's actually at. I locked down this name on just about everything I can get my hands on. But for now, I'm also on Twitter primarily. On Twitter, Kyle K Sparks. That's where I live tweeted Dynamite tonight. You can see some of my fantastic Dr. Horrible sing-along blog jokes regarding all the Hammer talk. You can see me name-dropping Greg the Hammer Valentine amongst all the Hammer talk, and just nerdy, bizarre fun. And so I anything I'm doing, I'm going to be promoting there. You can also find me on the new project Romanticize Wrestling with my Code of Honor podcast partner, Kylie Fuller, and Haley Ann. Haley and Kylie and I are working up projects there. And really anything that I'm doing, I'm going to be promoting on my Twitter anyway. I'll be here every Wednesday night. I'll be here next Wednesday night. At this point, I'm still not sure who is going to be in that box over there, but we'll figure that out. In the meantime, I'd say do your plugs, and it's been a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you, Kyle. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna figure out who's gonna be in this box. No matter who it is, they got, big shoes to fill because I wear a size 13. So,
Love it.
But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Mike is Purple. That's pretty much the only place you're gonna find me now, because this is my last podcast for 2022 and going to be probably a while into 2023 before you see me, unless somebody hits me up for just I might do some one-offs on other shows here and there if someone wants to invite me on as a panelist and it fits my schedule. But yeah, my real life commitments kind of just have been really trimming away my ability to pay too close of attention to wrestling or have time to actually research it, interview people, do podcast. Doing 2 or 3 podcasts a week is just not feasible for me right now. So I gotta take a break. I accomplished a lot doing this year. It was a good year. I interviewed a fucking ton of fantastic independent wrestlers. Go check out the Indeed playlist on the Body Slam Net YouTube channel. I had a great time reviewing all sorts of indie shows with Righteous Reg, doing post shows here for Dynamite with you, doing All Elite Weekly with my homie Adam. I really proud of everything I got done this year. So, hopefully it's something I can pick back up on the future. But if not, in the meantime, I appreciate any support you might have ever shown me. I'm so happy to have done this for Body Slam because it's just a fun place to be at, man. Got a great team, very interesting cast of characters here. It's certainly no shortage of personalities across the board on everybody, and none of them are the same. So it's just this fucking tapestry of misfits. I love it.
Hey, it's been a pleasure. I'll say I'll also add, make sure you follow Body Slam Net on all the socials. They're right down there.
Yeah.
YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, all the places.
Hive now as well. I have to get a logo in there.
We've got a great news team that's putting out great stuff every single day. Corey and the team there are just churning out content. It's fantastic stuff, and really proud of all of them. And come back next week. We'll have an announcement probably pretty soon as to what we're going to do. And again, thank you, Mike. This has been a blast. I've enjoyed the last couple of weeks. And we'll have a spot for it. We'll have a spot for you whenever you're ready to come back.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us tonight, everybody. I won't see you next week. Kyle will, but I'll be around. Have a good night, everybody. See you next. Well, no, not me. See you next week. He'll see you next week. Peace the fuck out.